You good? You got your stuff?
Yeah.
Okay. So the idea that I had is that you would read the book and you would tell us a summary of what is the book about, what are the important plot points in it, who are the important, as best you remember, who are the important characters, what are they like, and what do they do, that sort of thing. So what can you tell me?
I have questions.
Okay.
Who am I? What am I? Where am I?
Mm-hmm.
Basic character questions, acting questions. And that is that. Who, what, where, and when? Is this happening? And what part of reality is this happening? Is this a dream? Is this a spell? Is this a reality? Is it? We could ask all those questions. We don't need to answer them all. But these are the questions I have. Answers are not important.
What is the basic plot of the book?
Discovery, adventure, pig-headedness, which is the same as short-sightedness, ego, reality, what's real, what's not real.
All right, these are like descriptor words. What is the plot, though? What's happening?
How can I explain to you something I don't understand?
Well, you read it.
Yeah, but I read it. What I read was an adventure story.
Okay.
Sword and sorcery, from my point of view.
So can you tell me about it?
Yes, but I can tell you in broad strokes.
Yes, I would like to start with that. In broad strokes, tell me about it.
Look it up.
All right.
The story takes place in all time. So my question was, when does the story take place? But you can't answer any of these questions because you're saying you're referring me to the book.
Well, you read the book, so you're supposed to explain the book to me.
We're in a world that's different than our own.
Mm-hmm.
We're in a time that's different than our own, time and distance. The people we are meeting are not all human. Very important. They're fantasy creatures, but whose fantasy are they? That I don't know. I don't know who they are. This is all real in here. This is all real time. So they're not made-up things. They're real things. There's really a goblin. There's really other people. Some are people and some are not. I'm not sure yet who's who to differentiate them clearly for you.
Okay, that's fine.
But I know that I know who's different when it comes to, because he explains that.
Yeah.
I can't because I don't have it at my fingertips yet. I'd have to make specific notes who these people are and what they are. And
But, like, pick one of the names and tell me about that person.
I can't do that.
You can't.
I haven't done that research.
It's research. You read the book.
That doesn't tell me everything.
What do they do in the book? Like, you don't remember what any of the people
I remember.
do?
No, I see they're all doing the same thing. They were all arguing for position in their world, and they all want to go on the adventure. They all want to go looking for something. What are they looking for? I'm not sure. He says what they're looking for, but I'm not sure what it is. I just have these random notes from one place and another place. Goblins, slightly larger than Taffin Cruz, one of the toughest creatures I've ever known. Who's I? These are questions I ask whoever was talking about him at that point. at that point. Teferi was a planeswalker.
What does that mean?
I had that written down. See, I knew you were going to ask that.
What can you tell me? What's Teferi like then? Like you told me he's a planeswalker. Do you have anything you can say about his personality or who he is, or what does he act like? Or...
These are all the questions I wanted to answer after asking you.
No. The point was you were going to tell me.
I can't even hardly pronounce the names of the characters yet. I'm still practicing the names of them, how they pronounce the names.
Yeah.
Joyra, I can remember only from, I did a picture called Women, 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 Moira. That was the name of the picture.
The picture was called
Moira.
Women, Women, Moira?
Yeah. That was the name of the picture.
Okay, and that's how you remember Joyra.
Yes, because it's very. It isn't very. Since then, that's years ago, I have never seen. I haven't seen the name Moira or anything or a variation of it. Even I haven't seen the name.
So what's Joyra like?
I don't think I could tell you because I don't think I know.
Yeah. Well, you don't remember. You didn't retain it. You don't remember anything
I don't remember
that happened.
If I had my notes. Yeah, I like to have had them on chalkboard or board. Have some notes around, and that you could use that as a reference point and do it. That's just the way the pros do it. They put out these things so that they can do it. I can never pronounce it.
It's okay to pronounce it wrong.
Teferi.
That's actually correct.
Okay, Teferi pounced. I'm not asking you to go to war. Who's he pouncing on? I'm merely asking you to talk to me.
That's the cover flap, though. You realize that's not the start of the book, right? You haven't even gotten to page 1. That's just the teaser.
His name was Joyra.
Her
name was Joyra.
All right.
And she was over 1,000 years old.
Okay.
That's something there.
Right.
This fact tended to impress people, though Joyra herself never let it go to her head. She'd seen too much of the world, of many worlds, to pride herself on a simple, longer than usual lifespan. Okay, you say that she's seen too many worlds. You could say to me, tell me about one of her worlds.
No. I said, tell me about Joyra. You could have said she was 1,000 years old.
Yeah. She had witnessed firsthand the creation and destruction of worlds, vicious planet-wide warfare, and the cataclysmic sundering of time itself. Where there is magic and madness, literally anything is possible, and the 1,000-year-old woman simply doesn't stand out. Well, I don't understand that at all. Joyra's humility was also rooted in the hard fact that she was not a true immortal. Now, what is an immortal? And was also rooted in the hard fact that she was not a true immortal and did not consider herself so. She had known several of the real variety throughout the centuries, so she can live for thousands of years, but she's not a true immortal. So that's something we know about her, right?
Right.
She's almost an immortal, but she hasn't quite made it yet, for whatever reason. Well, maybe we'll find out.
Maybe
she'll be able to become an immortal. Maybe she doesn't even want to become an immortal. We don't know anything. All we know is that she's 1,000.
Seems like a pretty interesting start, actually.
Yeah, she's 1,000-year-old lady, and we made it to meet her. And she had known several of the real. Joyra's humility was also rooted in the hard fact that she was not a true immortal and did not consider herself so. She had known several of the real variety throughout the centuries, and had met, dined, and made war with beings who had either embraced infinity or been consumed by it. What the does that mean? Embraced infinity. What is infinity? Infinity is forever. Infinity is without end. Time without end. So she embraced, people have been consumed by it. Vampiric leash lords. Elemental avatars. What the does that mean? and otherworldly spellcasters with godlike power. Joyra shared some of the same long-lived perspectives with these supremely powerful beings, but ultimately, she was not like them. If she needed proof or a reminder of the truth, all she had to do was look around. The elegant, polished stone of her workshop walls hadn't been quarried or chiseled by masons' tools. They had been conjured out of the ether, created as walls from the first moment of their existence. So, the entity that shaped these walls into an efficient and aesthetically pleasing structure had done so by taking its design from Joyra's mind. It's like using the paper to make a knife. It's very much like that, the transmutation of matter.
Yeah.
She was an artificer, a designer, a builder of machines, and that would be the best way to describe. I would take all of the I said, and I just get down to the fact that she was an artificer, a designer. She was a builder of machines. Right. She was not an architect and had no actual plan for notion toward building her perfect workshop. What she did have was the raw idea of it, and that was all it took for a truly infinite immortal to make it real. But she's not a truly infinite immortal. This was the very real difference between her and a genuinely remarkable being. Well, I don't agree with that.
Why?
Because I think she's a remarkable being. And the difference that they're saying is that the difference between her and a remarkable being is the fact that she could live forever. But she's lived thousands of years, but that's not forever. Forever is forever. What is forever? She can't make it in any case. Whether she knows what it is or not, she can't do it because we're told she can't do it. We don't see her struggling at any point to do that, to become that, and to fail or succeed. We don't see that struggle. Just to hear about it. Joyra did not. This is all about Joyra. And I just had 4 pages about Joyra.
Well, might it be that she is the protagonist of this story?
Might be.
Might be.
Might be, but we meet some other people who come into
So there's more characters than just one.
More characters than just one. This is all on just introducing the one a character.
Yeah.
Who is? But what is she looking for?
Well, we're only 3 pages in, Dad.
Joyra did not resent this subtle exclusion, but prided herself on it. She was not one of them, the undying, infinitely powerful, or impervious to harm. She could be injured or killed the same as any short-lived person, as the arcane forces that extended her span did nothing to protect her from violence, disease, or deprivation. So there are the 3 big things that she is vulnerable to. She lives for thousands of years, but she has no more resistance to the travails that come when you live 1,000 years. Then you can get a cold, you get sick, you can get cough, you can lose a limb, you could walk into a tree. All kinds of things can happen. You can become neurotic, you can worry about things. That's she's vulnerable to. That's what makes the difference between her and a god. She's got time, but she doesn't have the ability to harness the time to her well-being. And that's pretty much what she's about.
All right.
Every 15 minutes, you can blame this on the reader. And this is the reader's fault, which I take the rap for. I could only read about 15 minutes, maybe that, before falling asleep.
Mm-hmm.
And I went dead out, like that. And that's the only time that's ever happened to me, that I've fallen asleep reading something. I get bored with things, and but I don't fall asleep. This consistently, from the very beginning to now, I reacted the same way to it.
Have you considered mech suits for the planeswalkers to wear.
What, like Gundams?
No, Urza made these giant robot suits for the planeswalkers to wear. They fired missiles and had bombs.
You are literally describing Gundams. We are not fighting Nicol Bolas in Gundams.